Hey, what's up, guys? Chris Nelson here. Welcome to the live stream. It's Monday, September 25th, 2023, and I hope you can see me good. I hope I got all the blurriness fixed. I don't know what is. I'm using a new camera right now, so hopefully that works. But just first of all, let me tell you, that Dolphins game, just wow. I mean, 70-20, they routed the Broncos. I mean, it's awesome to see the Dolphins doing good. My Steelers did good. But this show isn't about football, but I do absolutely love football on Sundays, and it's great to see the Dolphins doing good. But all right, so let's run down what we got going on today. And let's see. Oh, man. Trump doing a bunch of dumb stuff. Okay, so oh my goodness, what was it? Oh yeah, okay. So the debate between Newsom and DeSantis is on. All right, it's on. And okay, so people are talking about this, and let me tell you, okay, for a guy, all right, DeSantis is supposedly, completely irrelevant, right? And you can come on over here. This is live on X. It's also on YouTube. You can come on in and comment. But, DeSantis is completely irrelevant now, right? And that's allegedly according to this ABC News poll, okay? Which has Biden up on Trump 51-42. All right. And by the way, here, I'll give you my take on this poll, because I think I've got a little bit of a different take on this, because yes, the poll is about getting Trump to be the nominee. Okay, it's very clear that they want Trump to be the nominee. He thinks Jeb Bush invaded Iraq. Okay, I mean, here he is. He's mumbling and bumbling all over the place, and here he is saying that that he thinks Jeb Bush invaded Iraq. Okay, he got booed again for bringing up Lindsey Graham. I'll explain that to you. But okay, where is he? He thinks that Lindsey Graham. Okay, so here he is getting booed again. Okay.
When I need help on the left, he's great. He's great. And he's my friend, too. Lindsey Graham, wherever you are. Lindsey, thank you. Oh, no. He helps me on the left. We need that. Republicans shouldn't need help on the left, but he helps me. There, he's always, I'll tell you what, when I need help on the left, he's great. He's great. And he's my friend, too. Lindsey Graham, wherever you are. Lindsey, thank you. Oh, no. He helps me on the left.
Shut up!
We need help sometimes.
He helps me.
Republicans shouldn't need help on the left, but he helps me.
Like guys,
he's always, I'll tell you what, when I need help on the left, he's great. He's great. And he's my friend, too. Lindsey Graham, wherever you are. Lindsey, thank you. Oh, no. He helps me on the left. We need help sometimes. Republicans shouldn't need help on the left, but he helps me.
Don't need Lindsey Graham's help, you jackass. All right? Lindsey Graham is the reason, and his line of thought is the reason why we have this problem over with Ukraine, okay? It's warmongers and neocons like Lindsey Graham. They're the reason. All right? And here's Trump, saying, oh, we need Lindsey Graham. We love Lindsey Graham. And his supporters are booing, and he doesn't even care. But I'll tell you, what's going on here is Trump's supporters have divorced him from any of the stupid things he does or says. Okay, they did the same thing with Obama. And there's a lot of Obama supporters that are Trump supporters now. They'll boo him and they'll carry on, but at the same time, they'll claim that it's all somehow part of a bigger plan. All right? And they'll divorce him from the fallout from the vaccine. They'll divorce him from supporting Lindsey Graham or any of the things he does. They'll divorce him from failing at the border wall. They'll divorce him from the can a man become a woman thing. They'll divorce him from all these things, and they'll say, hey, look, he's trying. See, Trump is trying to fight these forces within, but he just can't do it. He didn't know how deep it was. And then you got lunatic Steve Bannon now saying that there's going to be military tribunals for Milley doing this QAnon stuff. I think, okay, October 4th, when the 5G towers go off, then we'll have the military tribunals, and then we'll have these things. Now, where is this here that Trump, Jeb Bush, okay? All right, so Trump doesn't know who brought us into Iraq, okay? Here we go.
It's less than 4 months before the season starts. We start in Iowa, we go to New Hampshire, when I came here, everyone thought Bush was going to win. And then they took a poll and they found out Trump was up by about 50 points. Everyone said, what's going on right here? They thought Bush, because Bush supposedly was a military person. Great. You know what? He was a military. He got us into the Middle East. How did that work out, right?
Jeb Bush did not.
But they all thought that Bush might win. Jeb.
No, not Jeb. George Bush got us into the Middle East, not Jeb. Oh boy. I mean, it's just going to be hard because look at the accounts that are going after Trump over this, okay? This is, look at Midas Touch right now. Midas Touch and Akin, if you say his name right, and all this stuff. Okay, look at what Midas Touch is doing right now. All right? They're all over this. Look. Oh, there's Moskowitz, formerly Moskowitz. Have respect, a respectable guy. But I mean, but he's a Democrat, so not for these Democrats. They have very fundamentally different opinions than us. But look who is capitalizing on this. And okay, so he's okay. Blah 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 blah. Okay, here it is. Trump short circuits during live speech. He accuses Jeb Bush of deploying military to Middle East. Do you see how this kind of stuff is going to be used in a general election? Never mind, Trump is under, what is it, like 90-something indictments? How many indictments is he under? I know that there is this nice little fantasy world where, the election was never stolen and JFK was never assassinated and all these, even though now we find out that the election really wasn't stolen, but you think it was. It was a nice idea. And everything just works out perfectly in your life and in the country and everything like that. But you see, we live in the real reality. And I get it. It sucks sometimes. It really does. Okay? But in reality, we've got a guy who allegedly is the leader of our party and the leader of the GOP and the leading candidate who is under a lot of indictments right now. Okay? So, here, and how many indictments is it? Okay, where was it? Unfiltered Boss had a good post here about this. I hate that I can't find the post that I want. Okay, so where was Unfiltered Boss's post about this? Blah, blah, blah. Because Trump went into a gun shop and he said he bought a gun. Okay? All right. So that would be a felony. Okay. Look, somebody put him on Trump's profile. I don't know whoever did that, but it's funny. Okay. I don't know if that was something that really happened or if it's somebody that made that or somebody got into it. Because, Don Jr. had his account hacked and then claimed it was Hunter Biden, but you can't really tell the difference because both of them, it's just coke-fueled nonsense. So He goes, oh, stop booing the establishment. Stop booing. But stop booing the establishment. He is the establishment. But see, Jeremy, what is going on here is his supporters disconnect him from Lindsey Graham. He can stand up there and rattle off about how much he loves Lindsey Graham, and his supporters will weave that into a fantasy land where he's somehow trying to expose him, or he has to bring Lindsey Graham up. See, Chris, he has to bring Lindsey Graham up. Because if he doesn't, then they won't play the game with him, see? And it's like, but you guys are saying that a picture of Jeb Bush standing behind DeSantis at the inaugural event where he was the former governor is proof that DeSantis is controlled by Bush. Yes, Chris. See, you can't reason with these guys because there is another fantasy at play here. All right? But here is, okay, all right, here's the debate. Okay, Gavin Newsom and
DeSantis and California Governor Newsom.
I know you guys got a lot of problems out here, but your governor's very concerned about what we're doing in Florida.
Another day, another story about people leaving California. Last year, 500,000 people went somewhere else.
You've seen massive gains in states like Florida.
The FTLE's 2021 Uniform Crime Report shows crime in the Sunshine State dropped to a 50-year low.
Violent crime is way up and claiming victims here in Los Angeles at a rate we haven't seen in decades.
California is facing a $32 billion deficit. That's up $9 billion from what's originally predicted.
We've actually paid down 25% of our state's debt.
You have a $22 billion budget surplus, the highest in the state's history.
CNBC ranks us #1 of all 50 states for the economy.
Decline is a choice. Success is attainable. Florida is proof positive that we, the people, are not destined for failure.
Are you going to get in and do it, or are you just going to sit on the sidelines and chirp?
Florida versus California, conservative versus progressives. It's the debate we should be having at the national level.
Well, now we're having it. And isn't this the debate that we deserve? And Newsom will be at the debate on Wednesday, and so will I, bringing you coverage. And I'm not sure if Newsom is going as a Trump surrogate or a Biden surrogate. Because, okay, let me go back to the poll. All right? We're finally getting this debate. I think it's on when is it? December 30th, November 30th? I don't know. It's on there. I'm never good with these little details, okay? So it's, and look at this. For a guy who is allegedly, completely irrelevant, right? DeSantis he's so down in the polls, he's irrelevant. And guys, let me tell you something, all right? You saw this crazy WAPO poll, and I'm going to talk about that. But you're going to see, because the debate's Wednesday and because Trump is too chicken to show up, and Biden's also too chicken to debate RFK Jr., but this debate on Wednesday, it's going to be a circus. Carrie Lake will probably be there. There will be, let's see, will the Trump people be meeting in a restaurant? Will they be meeting at French Laundry maybe with Gavin Newsom and the Lib Press and Washington Post to plot against Ron DeSantis? Remember, they did that last time at the debate up in wherever it was, Minnesota or wherever. They met with the media, okay? All of Trump's, little urchins and minions were lurking around the debate, even though he wasn't there. He was, who knows where he was held up in Stonebridge or Stonecrest or whatever the hell his ritzy little country club is out there. I can't remember what it's called. The one in New Jersey. What's it called in New Jersey? Am I getting old? What's Trump's thing called in New Jersey? Who cares? It doesn't even matter. But then Mar-a-Lago down here. See, he's not there. But all his people are going to be there. You're going to see so much of stuff ramp up against DeSantis. You're going to see sensational stories drop. You're going to see polls drop that show him, like, if you could find a negative spot, he would be there. You're going to find, oh my goodness, just wait, things you wouldn't predict. All sorts of a circus is going to happen because this debate's coming up, and it's all going to happen around the debate. It's all just designed to discourage you, okay? It's all just designed to discourage you. All right, because the left, They want Trump to be the nominee. Okay, this is very clear. But let me tell you something else that they want. All right, they don't want Biden to be the nominee. All right, and this is what a lot of this is for. Okay, if you go to Drudge Report, Drudge used to be run by Matt Drudge, who was a conservative guy, but it's obviously not run by him anymore, and it's got a very left-leaning lean to it now. But if you follow Drudge, you can see what they want, and you see them pushing these polls. And lately on Drudge, a lot, there is a real push to not have Biden be the nominee. Okay, let me share this. Let me share this with you here. Okay, so you see over here that if you go to Drudge, okay, see, Biden nightmares election scenario might be coming true. Hillary Clinton freaks. Pretty effing concerning. Rep refuses to rule out primary challenge. Newsom running for president. DeSantis debate starts speculation. See, this Washington Post poll, yes, it's designed, because polls are designed to shape public opinion, okay? They're not designed to reflect public opinion. Right now, the polls are a propaganda way of people that are, in charge of the media and stuff like that to decide who the candidates are going to be. And then you got Trump running around in Nevada, like with this bozo GOP chair out there. There's a lot of GOP chairs that are like heavy Trump, heavy establishment, and they're trying to like rig it against DeSantis. And, pretty much everything you see the tabloid people on Trump's side accusing DeSantis of doing, they're doing themselves. They're doing all these little tricks and smears and just done, it's just like, okay, because unfortunately some of that works sometimes, all right? But you see here, this WAPO poll, all right, serves another purpose, and that's so Biden is not the nominee, okay? The left and the left Democrat establishment do not want Biden. They want Newsom, all right? All of this is going to come down to DeSantis versus Newsom, because this is really the battle. This represents it all. It's a dystopian, germaphobe, godless, despairing, homeless everywhere, crime out of control vision, Soros type vision for the future that you got in Newsom, Trump's buddy, by the way. And then you've got a compared to a freedom and freedom loving vision that you've got with DeSantis, okay, where crime's under control and you have your freedom. So you've got a positive vision for the future of the country, too. I mean, that's what it really comes down to. And so this poll, and you're going to see more of these polls that are really designed to set the stage for Biden to step aside, because that's what really the goal of that is. All right. So all right. So I want to remove that, and then okay, let's go back here. All right, so you see this. I mean, Google Newsom versus DeSantis debate. I mean, it's got news coverage everywhere, but read my story on the Floridian, because that's the best one, all right? Because I talk about the history leading up to this, because it started with Newsom throwing down, and he kept taking shots at DeSantis and saying, oh, you're playing games with people's lives, DeSantis, by letting people be free. And then he starts lying about it, what was going on in California and stuff, and he threw down the gauntlet. And DeSantis then replied on Hannity and said, "Yeah, let's do this," and has been saying, "Let's go." And finally, they're going to be doing it. But for a guy that is so insignificant and so down in the polls and everything, oh my goodness, the media pays a lot of attention to him. No, Jeb Bush did not invade All right. Okay. So here's the deal with this. Okay. And this is one thing I really don't like about Trump and his people. Okay. And I had a good conversation with Robbie Starbuck this morning. Maybe I went a little hard. I mean, look, I just want these freaking people to wake up a little bit, because when you're out there and you're pushing an end to child mutilation, an end to transgender indoctrination on kids, what is a woman, and these fundamental things about life and about abortion, and that you want to say, look, there is a sanctity of life here. There's something that is more important than politics, and that is having that is based in a good moral base. Okay. And you are making that your platform, yet you are backing a guy who can't answer a question, can a man become a woman? Now, one main problem that I have with the Trump campaign and people like Stephen Chung, aka Odd Job, because he looks just like Odd Job from the James Bond movies, and all these guys are like Bond villains. They think it's cool, but they're more like Batman villains, or they're more like the bumbling Batman villains on the old Batman, you know, when it was Adam West, and they're like, wham, pow, and they're like, ha, 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 I will get you. I mean, that's kind of like the kind of people that surround Trump, all right? So Stephen Chung says either he's lying somewhere, okay? Because look at this. President Trump purchases a Glock Inc. in South Carolina. There he's buying a gun. Okay, Trump is is charged with like 70-something felonies or something like that. Okay? He can't legally buy a gun. All right? So then that gets back to Trump, I guess, that or to Chung, that, hey, you know, you really stepped in it, dude. And then Chung deletes the tweet. So the tweet's not there anymore. And then he tweets out, oh, you know, just kidding. Look, Trump campaign gets caught lying about a gun purchase. I mean, and this kind of stuff is just, this is just going to follow him into the general if he's the nominee. You think like, oh, you were being mean by pointing this out. Look, then, okay, here, now, after being called out for this, that this might be against the law and this could get Trump in more trouble. You know, Trump's campaign spokesman, Stephen Chung, clarifies to CNN that former President Donald Trump did not purchase a firearm at the Armory in Summerville, South Carolina on Monday. So either Chung was lying then or he's lying now. I think Trump bought the gun. What do you think? You think he bought the gun? You know, I think he bought it. And then he went, oh, whoops. I think Chung might have been telling the truth to begin with. And I think he bought it. What do you guys think? So either way, he's lying somewhere. All right. So Trump is surrounded by liars. Okay. And guys, you got to remember, most people that follow Trump think John F. Kennedy Jr. is coming back and that there's going to be military tribunals. You had, what's his name? You had Bannon promoting the military tribunal theory this morning. And, you know, carrying on about that. And that's you know, the QAnon thing, that there's going to be these military tribunals at Guantanamo Bay. And this is and this is how, like, this is going to be handled. And you have, like, Trump, like, retweeting that, sharing that stuff. And I mean, and then he says, oh, pro-lifers had absolutely zero status on the subject of abortion until I came along. For 52 years, everyone talked, but got nothing. I got it done. There would be no talk of a 6-week ban or anything without me. Okay, now it's all, look, he's come out and said it was a mistake to, okay, here it is. Milley will be tried before a military tribunal. You see this? See what Bannon's saying? Bannon, it looks like he crawled out of a dumpster. And he's there. You know, here's Trump, Mark Milley, who led perhaps the most embarrassing moment in American history with his grossly incompetent implementation of the withdrawal that blah, 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 blah. Billions of dollars will be leaving the military next week. This will be a time to celebrate. And then Milley will be tried for before a military tribunal. Right. Uh-huh. Oh, hey, what's up, Aiden? Hey, I didn't see the comments. I hadn't. Yeah. Hey, don't you think he bought that gun, dude? I think he bought it. I think Trump was telling the truth the first time. I think he was lying the second time. What's up, Kevin? Yeah, I mean, you know, you got this is another thing, okay? This is something that we have great ammo at towards, no pun intended, towards Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden's got a gun charge. But then you've got Trump potentially buying an illegal gun. All right, how is he going to call out any of this stuff when he's doing it himself? Oh, yeah, I got this video I made. So, you know, you've got these people, and they're all like, oh my goodness. All right, sweet. I got 7 viewers. This is fantastic. Now, like, I love you guys. I really do. And, you know, I do this more as a public service because there's so much stupidity out there. And there's a lot of grifters out there. I promise you, and all of you guys watching, I promise you, I will never hawk lumpy pillows. Okay? I will never hawk gold. All right? You know, I will probably, I don't know. I would only want to present something to you that was something that that would be really cool and that I truly believed in. And I know that my pillows are lumpy. All right? And it makes me mad when people try to sell something to you that is not good for you. All right? And gold will be worthless if there's an end of the world scenario. Okay? I'm sorry to break it to you if you got gold bars or this thing like that. It's not. Guns and ammo and gasoline are going to be what's valuable in an end of the world scenario. Anyway, check it out. What happens when Chuckles Kirk asks people, can a man become a woman? Go.
What is a woman? It's not a trick question. What is a woman?
Can the man give birth?
You can't answer the question with the question.
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman.
Yeah, define the woman without saying woman. You're in college, paying for an education. What is a woman?
I think part of it is birth.
It's not a trick. What is a woman?
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think part of it is birth.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars into debt who think it's a trick question when you ask them what a woman is.
Let me ask you something. Can a man become a woman?
No. How ridiculous that we're even asking that question.
What is a woman?
No, I mean,
it's not a trick question.
It's not a trick question. And here's the problem with guys like Chuckles Kirk. Okay, look, they go around, and I'll say this to Robbie Starbuck, who was very kind to me, by the way. Okay, and I respect that. You know, very kind to me. He seems like a down to earth person. Some of these guys, when I challenge him on something, and maybe I could be a little nicer. Okay, maybe I could be a little more fragile to their fragile egos. Okay, and I know, like, sometimes I just see something on here and I just go, and I'm mad. And I just go, how could you do it? You know, because I see these guys, and do you see what a problem it is for guys like Chuckles, okay? He's sharing a video of him out asking college kids, what is a woman? And they can't answer it because they're being indoctrinated because it's what their teachers are teaching them and stuff. But then Chuckles doesn't care about the fact that Trump can't answer that question himself, and he backs him for president. Okay, do you see that this creates a problem? I mean, and that this stuff is going to be used against Trump. Okay, now, Libs of TikTok has done a great job, okay, of, you know, getting the word out and exposing what was happening in these schools. I got to tell you, without Shia, and she was doxxed at one point, which was horrible, but she decided to come out and that she's the person behind Libs of TikTok. The doxing was horrible. Oh yeah, by the way, I don't believe for a second that Cat Turd got swatted. Maybe he did, but whatever. Swatting's bad. All right, fine. You know, if Cat Turd got swatted, it's bad. All right, where they call and they say there's a suicidal person or some kind of emergency going on at a house, and then the SWAT teams bust in and do that. It's a horrible thing. Okay, it should never. And if it did happen to Cat Turd, then it's bad. All right, but if he turns around and starts saying this was DeSantis supporters, I'm just saying I wouldn't put it past a lying scumbag like Cat Turd to make something like that up. That's all I'm saying. That's why I question it. But maybe it did happen, and if it did, it was wrong. Okay? But you know, if it's like, oh my goodness, it's because I'm trying to get the truth out. There's no truth that you're getting out, Cat Turd. There's nothing true that you're getting out. Nobody's afraid of you. Nobody's like, oh my goodness, we need to stop Cat Turd. He's exposing all of it. No, you're a stooge, dude. You're a useful idiot. All right. Now, back to Shia. I wasn't talking about Shia. Okay. All right. Libs of TikTok did great. The thing is Cat Turd is a liar. Stephen Chung is a liar, and all these people are freaking liars, and they're scumbags too. So when somebody who has that kind of track record like Cat Crap, you know, then you wonder about these things. If somebody like on DeSantis's teams, the respectable people said it happened to them, first of all, I don't think they would complain about it. Here's the thing. If one of this happened to one of DeSantis's people and somebody, I don't think that they would get online and start crying about it, okay? Because, you know, there's some things where you just handle in your personal life. You don't need to make a big freaking scene over it. The fact that Cat Turd is making a big scene over it and saying that I've been swatted, and he's trending, and everybody's going, oh, like look at all these idiots. First, here's the thing. Just with Shia, it's just kind of like, okay, you're exposing all this stuff, but you're supporting a guy who can't say what a man and a woman is, and I don't care. You can twist it, do whatever mental gymnastics you want. He said, he couldn't answer the question. We have a guy who is a viable candidate. Please, I think another one of the things with these polls is to convince people like Shia, people like Robbie Starbuck, people that have big followings, to think it's hopeless for DeSantis, so they'll say, oh, I want to get behind the winner. How about you just get behind the guy who has the values that you have the most? And then in the end, if you want to support Trump, if he's the nominee, go right ahead. But in the primary, look, Glenn Beck goes, I don't know about the primary. I don't like the primaries very much because we're all at each other's throat. Glenn, no, the primaries are good. It's so you route out this kind of crap. And you can back up a guy who most represents your values and who you think can win and represents your values, though, is number one. And I hear guys, you know, and Robbie Starbuck saying that, you know, it just is not looking good for DeSantis. We're going to have to come together at some point. First of all, I'm not ever getting behind Stephen Chung and this lying cancerous tumor. These guys represent a cancerous tumor on the ass of the GOP. The Jack Posobics, the Tim Pool and his producer, they represent a tick on the Cernovich on the ass of the GOP, or they're more like a tumor on a tick on the ass of the GOP. They're a malignant cancerous tumor on the ass of the GOP. They need to be defeated just like the libs do. I'm not going to join up with any of them. I don't believe in what they represent, and I look at them just like I look at the libs. There's not going to be a coming together with those people, period. All right, so, oh yeah, Trump Jr., thanks, Kevin. Don Jr., also a liar, was tried, but they tried to get conservative. Oh yeah, back off the Bud Light controversy. It's because they're woke, guys. They're woke. Trump was a Democrat. He's a lib. Yes, Riley Gaines supports this because, like, how can you not? More people just come out. Because why do you think DeSantis is having trouble? Why? Could it be because some of you guys with big platforms are too afraid to go against the listless vessel memo? And if Trump is sending memos out telling you what to say, look, I get DeSantis' press releases and stuff, but I'm not, there's not like, oh, you must say this. I'm not going to I would never do that. If DeSantis' people tried to tell me what to say, I would tell everybody that they told me that. And I would say, like, oh my goodness, his people are just like Trump's. But they're not. I've never. And and that's what was funny when people were like, oh, like DeSantis tells you what to say and stuff. Like, it's not, that's when I instantly knew, oh, Trump sends out some kind of memo. And you can see all the accounts, how they in unison go with a talking point, or they in unison ignore the hurricane, or that you can tell they're following orders from the big guy. All right. So it's just tough, when you're trying to oppose something, but then the guy that you back for president is in it. It is I'm doing it. I'm gonna play this again. I like this.
Not a trick question. What is a woman?
Can the man give birth?
You can't answer the question with the question.
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman.
Yeah, define the woman without saying woman. You're in college, paying for an education. What is a woman?
I think part of it is birth.
It's not a trick. What is a woman?
Here's another thing with this. It's not
In my
about
opinion,
what Trump or anybody thinks. This is another problem with him. All right. It's not like, what's your opinion? Look at mugshot. Can you imagine? He's got that orange goop all over his face, but the rest of his body's probably all like pasty white, nasty. But he puts that orange goop on his face. Remember, he wouldn't wear a mask. They just came out and said he wouldn't wear a mask because it got the orange crap all over his face. It would come off. But he made military people he had supported mask mandates there. And he closed things. He closed national parks. He closed the Arlington cemeteries, so people can have funerals. He was a lockdown or shutdown guy. He believed in Fauci all along. But anyway, so the problem is, okay, and then on the other hand, okay, so you got Trump, who's in some kind of cognitive decline, all right, and he clearly is. He doesn't know. And then he gets all mad when people, he's always,
I'll tell you what, when I need help on the left, he's great. He's great. And he's my friend too. Lindsey Graham, wherever you are. Lindsey, thank you. Oh, no. He helps me on the left. We need help sometimes. Republicans shouldn't need help on the left, but he helps me.
What does he have on
Another man who's always there. He's always, I'll tell you what.
Something is going on with Trump and Lindsey Graham. Like, what does he have on him? Is there is he worried that Lindsey Graham's going to sing? Does he have something on him that he's got to keep bringing him up? Because his audience boos, but he keeps bringing him up. Lindsey Graham, look at this guy, okay? He is not the same Trump, all right? But actually, it's more just he's showing who he really is. We didn't know. Here's Ryan Fournier. Oh, look, Trump bought a Glock. He's so cool. Hey, moron. He's not allowed to buy a gun because of his charges. I know you want to think his charges are just invisible and they aren't real. Look, I support and appreciate the Biden administration sending cluster munitions to Ukraine. We must provide the Ukrainians the tools they need to evict Russian invaders. Do you think that Trump is going to stop sending money to Ukraine. Are you freaking kidding me? The Ukraine situation is going to get worse. And here's the thing, Trump is not, it's all moot because he's not going to be able to be president, guys. I know you'd like to think he will be and in some magic land, but you know, here we got this guy, okay? We got this guy. How about this guy, huh? Look at him serving drinks there. Look how happy everybody is. There he is, man, at VFW Post 2422. DeSantis joining fellow veterans because DeSantis has worn the uniform, okay? He knows about war and things. And let me tell you something. Watch this. He had the most coherent answer for how to end the Ukraine thing because we want to see this end, okay? Watch.
Interest, and the goal should be to bring it to a conclusion so that we don't have wars breaking out in Europe or we don't have this going on for 50 years. And that's pretty much what I've been. People said, oh, he said Vladimir Putin's a bad guy, so that must be a change because wouldn't he, if Putin's bad, don't you have to support a never-ending blank check? No, there's a different question between Putin being a bad guy, which he is, Russia being the aggressor, which they are, but then our national interests and the risks of us getting enmeshed in this. I'm the only guy running that's actually put on the uniform. I was in Iraq at a time where, you know, things weren't great in places like Fallujah and Ramadi, and I'm very conscious and sensitive to doing things where there's not a clear mission, where we don't know what exactly we're trying to accomplish. Biden is still not articulated. He just says as long as it takes. So as president, my goal would be to end it, not to escalate it. I think we can do that, but you're going to have to use other levers that Biden has not been willing to do. For example, on the energy. He is basically funding both sides of the conflict.
Correct.
Our energy policy helps Russia, helps Iran. He gave $6 billion to Iran just now. Iran is helping Russia in the conflict. China is helping Russia in the conflict. And then people will sometimes say, well, you know, because it's borderland between Russia and Ukraine, like why should America care? And so what the DC people will say is, well, China is watching this. They're going to see, and that may cause them what they do with Taiwan. I actually think what China wants, they want to see a long, protracted quagmire because we're running low on ammunition in the West. Stockpiles are diminishing. Russia, if they're in it, Russia will get weakened too. But China wants a weak Russia because that means Russia's a client state of China. Because, you know, China and Russia, they get along, but then they don't or whatever. This China would be, or Russia would be dependent on China.
Do you hear him, guys? Do you hear him just spitting policy like this? I mean, does Trump have a grasp of the issues like he does? I want the guy who's got the grasp of the issues. Like, he gets it. Do you see that he, like, knows what's going on and what the root of the problem is and how to leverage that, like, look, by creating this energy crisis and high-priced energy over his climate change lunacy and trying to bow to the climate change people, that Biden is actually helping Russia while at the same time we're sending weapons to Ukraine. Yeah, Kevin. I mean, I haven't seen a guy like this in my whole life, and I'm your age too. And he's got such a clear grasp of the issues. And sometimes, you know, on the Trump side, you always hear this like with Marjorie Greene, we need to impeach Joe Biden. We need to impeach Joe Biden. Impeach Joe Biden. And then she goes on Bannon's dumb show, and Bannon, and they just don't have any grasp of the issue, okay? Impeach Joe Biden, give me money, impeach Joe Biden. She's another welfare queen. These are all welfare queens, okay? They're conservative welfare queens. And they're trying to impeach him based on corruption because that's what the Bannons and Posobics and these people say needs to happen. And the Lindells, and it's corruption. And look, watch what DeSantis says about impeaching Joe Biden. All right.
In that situation. So I think it's in our interest for this to come to an end as expeditiously as possible.
All that money.
Well, they're paying salaries for Ukrainian bureaucrats, no accountability on any of this, paying pensions for Ukrainian bureaucrats. I mean, that is something that's totally unacceptable to be doing.
Joe Biden impeachment, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the corruption is real. I think they should be inquiring and investigating. But, you know, he should be impeached for the border. He is derelict in the performance of his duties. He took an oath to ensure that the laws of this country were faithfully executed, and he has flagrantly violated his oath of office. That is definitely an impeachable offense. And so I think on that dereliction of duty, that's the cleanest case that they should do. I do think they should be getting the information on corruption, and I think there is real corruption with the Biden family.
Is it a problem if Joe Biden
Okay,
didn't?
do you see that? Do you hear what he said there? And I'm sorry for the blurry screen. It's really frustrating. I just looked on my phone and like I changed cameras. I don't know if it's the internet connection. I'm on StreamYard, and everybody else. Do you see Dave Rubin's stream? It's like number one, the guy's so good, well dressed, and then number two, it's like so crystal clear. All right, and I don't know if he's doing a live stream, but I got to figure this out. It might be the internet connection, because it just drives me nuts when I watch this later and it's all blurry and fuzzy and stuff. But anyway, so I got to figure that out. I'll figure it out at some point. But do you see the answer here? Okay. Do you see that, like, this is a guy who understands the issues? Okay. If we have a common cause, all right, we want to impeach Joe Biden. And then you got Matt Gaetz and these guys running all around, and they want to do this. But you see, they have to do it in the Trump-centric prism. It can't be done in a way that's effective. And I think a lot of these guys are infected with the Al Sharpton syndrome. A solution to their stated problem equals an end to their grift. Marjorie Taylor Greene is buying a lot of SUVs, $90,000 SUVs with those campaign contributions. Most congressional campaigns are a grift, okay? Whether they win or lose. These people that run over and over again, and there's a big, on the Republican side, it's on the Democrat too, but on the Republican side, there's a major grift going on. These candidates that run over and over again, and they just spit Trump nonsense, and they're on the same, he's doing around Trump events and wearing all the Trump stuff, and everything's Trump, and they, give me some money. It's a grift. You can like basically pay for your lifestyle out of your congressional funds. Like Anthony Sabatini, biggest freaking grifter. Oh, give me money. Oh yeah, I'm running for Congress again. Yeah, they lose, and then they run again, and they run again, and then the like Trump's base are really easy to scam. Okay, they just are, and a lot of these guys, you got to understand, they just saw a mark. They saw a mark. There are people that aren't being honest about it, but they know what people want to hear. Do you see what I mean? So you just got to watch out for these guys, okay? Watch out for con artists. I say this because it is a loving thing to say, all right? There's a lot of con artists around Trump, and that showed up on the scene around Trump. Thank you, Kevin. Hey, what's up, cat lover? Oh, no, okay. I'm a cat lover, too. Well, if you are a Trump trash talker, I think I will not be following you anymore because he's the only one who can dig us out of our country's current problems. Okay, why do you think that? And don't you think he's responsible in a large part for our country's current problems? Do you know he signed $3 trillion he signed $3 trillion in coronavirus relief, quote unquote, that's going to things like the Broward Convention Center right now. What didn't end up in the pockets of, like, say, the Broward mayor's daughter and campaign manager? They were running COVID loan scams. All right, this inflation started with the shutdowns. You know that, right? That you can't just pay people to not work over a fake virus and or whatever you want to, even if it's a real virus. Okay, let's just say for argument's sake that COVID is a real virus. You still can't say it was the worst virus ever. You still can't shut the economy down and expect it not to have dire consequences, including the inflation we're seeing right now. And this is a problem. Let me finish the rest.
And the goal should be to bring it to a conclusion so that we don't have wars breaking out in Europe, or we don't have this going on for 50 years. And that's pretty much what I've been. People said, he said Vladimir Putin's a bad guy, so that must be a change, because wouldn't he, if Putin's bad, don't you have to support a never-ending blank check? No, there's a different question between Putin being a bad guy, which he is, Russia being the aggressor, which they are, but then our national interests and the risks of us getting enmeshed in this. I'm the only guy running that's actually put on the uniform. I was in Iraq at a time where, things weren't great in places like Fallujah and Ramadi, and I'm very conscious and sensitive to doing things where there's not a clear mission, where we don't know what exactly we're trying to accomplish. Biden is still not articulated. He just says as long as it takes. So as president, my goal would be to end it, not to escalate it. I think we can do that, but you're going to have to use other levers that Biden has not been willing to do. For example, on the energy. He is basically funding both sides of the conflict.
Correct.
Our energy policy helps Russia, helps Iran. He gave $6 billion to Iran just now. Iran is helping Russia in the conflict. China is helping Russia in the conflict. And people will sometimes say, well, because it's borderland between Russia and Ukraine, like why should America care? And so what the DC people will say is, well, China is watching this. They're going to see, and that may cause them what they do with Taiwan. I actually think what China wants, they want to see a long, protracted quagmire because we're running low on ammunition in the West. Stockpiles are diminishing. Russia, if they're in it, Russia will get weakened too. But China wants a weak Russia because that means Russia's a client state of China. Because China and Russia, they get along, but then they don't, or whatever. This China would be, or Russia would be dependent on China in that situation. So I think it's in our interest for this to come to an end as expeditiously as possible.
All that money.
Well, they're paying salaries for Ukrainian bureaucrats. No accountability on any of this, paying pensions for Ukrainian bureaucrats. I mean, that is something that's totally unacceptable to be doing.
Joe Biden impeachment, 30 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the corruption is real. I think they should be inquiring and investigating. But, he should be impeached for the border. He is derelict in the performance of his duties. He took an oath to ensure that the laws of this country were faithfully executed. And he has flagrantly violated his oath of office. That is definitely an impeachable offense. And so I think on that dereliction of duty, that's the cleanest case that they should do. I do think they should be getting the information on the corruption. And I think there is real corruption with the Biden family.
Is it a problem if Joe Biden didn't get any of the money, but they were selling the illusion? And his family was enriched, but he wasn't enriched.
Well, yeah, I mean, of course there's a problem with that. And I doubt that it would be something that Biden would just be an innocent bystander to and would never do it. I mean, after all, who's the big guy that they're kicking up the money to?
When you saw Poland, if you did see, Poland said yesterday, we're done. We're not going to supply Ukraine anything because their farmers are being slaughtered by the grain prices because, is that just a political move on Poland's part until the prime minister is elected? Is that real?
I don't know. I think it's maybe too soon to tell, but Poland has been one that they have been willing to mobilize more power because they have history with Russia. So it's something that they're concerned about in terms of what's going on there. But I look at it just practically. And if we were here 5 years ago, I would have said, and I think it may be still true, his ambitions, Vladimir Putin, would be to make more incursions into Europe. But I think you and I probably would agree or would have thought that they had much more firepower than what they've shown to be able to have. They don't have the ability, I think, to make successful incursions into a NATO country. Now, we're bound by that, and I think that, but I just don't see that. I mean, I think that they've suffered a lot of losses with the Ukraine situation, but I do think how Zelensky is acting, I think is ruffling feathers in places like Poland. I mean, he's at the UN lecturing about climate change. I mean, really? Is that really what you should be doing? Give me a break.
I don't know. I love this guy. I mean, number one, just look at him. He looks so tan. He looks good. He looks young. He's got a sparkle in his eye, and he gets it too. He gets it. Like, you have to be stupid to not want him to be president. I mean, I can't even, and please, okay, watch the whole interview. This is with Glenn Beck. It's on Glenn Beck's channel. He sits with DeSantis for over an hour. Watch this thing, okay? I could play all these clips. All right. But he has a handle on the issues. Okay. He gets it.
He said Florida's 6-week abortion ban was a terrible mistake.
Protecting unborn babies that have detectable heartbeats is not terrible. It's noble. It's just. And it should be something that anyone says that they're pro-life would embrace. I don't see how you could claim to have been at one time pro-life and then turn around and say that it's terrible that a state would enact protections for life. And we did, I think, what most people were hoping states would do once Dobbs came down. So it's something that I'm proud that we did. It was the right thing. It was based on science and data and evidence in terms of that detectable heartbeat. And there's a bunch of other states that did similar. And I think that they stood up and stood for life as well. So what you can't do is, especially on fundamental issues, you can't say that, the question, should an unborn that has a detectable heartbeat, should they be protected or not? Or can it just be flushed away? And it doesn't matter if 80% of the people think it should be protected or only 20% of the people think it be protected. It's not a poll question. It's a fundamental question about your values, about what you think. I think this country's based on the idea that we're endowed by our creator with certain unalienable rights, starting with the right to life. So when I have that in front of me, that decision is, of course, it's something that's that you should protect. It's not terrible to be able to save lives.
No compromise.
So you see this.
Well, here's
here.
the thing.
I mean,
it's one thing to say.
And this is one of the things that I talked to Robbie Starbuck. Was a really nice guy. And some of these other guys, and I'm like, look, that's exactly right. You're not supposed to be making value judgments based on the polls. All right. Since when are we gonna be listening to the Washington Post for who we should nominate? These polls are just. And they come out every week. They're prevalent. Watch for another one tomorrow. There will be another one after the debate, too, that will show Trump shooting way up. Trump won't show up to the debate. DeSantis will knock it out of the park. And somehow Trump will shoot up in the polls. No. Oh, yeah, DeSantis is having a campaign event in Long Beach on Saturday, which is near Huntington Beach. Those are the guys that defied the Gavin Newsom's beach closure. It's going to be great. It's going to be everything leading up to this DeSantis versus Newsom debate, because these are really the candidates, DeSantis versus Newsom. That's what this is all about, okay? But we've got Trump who is saying that it was terrible, the heartbeat bill. It was terrible because of politics. DeSantis took a risk signing that thing. The political class of the political consultant class for sure told him not to do that, but he did it because it's what he believes in. Okay, this stuff matters. Oh, I see Tim Cool Free is having a space right now, and I'm taken away. Come over here. Look, I've got 12 viewers going, man, for over an hour. I challenge anybody who would be critical of me. And by the way, the people in this room are awesome. Kevin, what's up? Aiden, what's up? Cat Lover, what's up? If you leave, that's going to be 1/4 of my audience gone. Okay? Stick with me for a little bit, Cat Lover. I get it. I know it's hard. I used to be. I can't even criticize you, though. I remember when Glenn Beck was against Trump so much, and I said, I will never listen to Glenn Beck again. Anybody that had anything bad about Trump to say, I shut them out because they were part of the scheme to take down Trump. Guys, we don't have to be in this constant battle all the time. All right? Don't you get exhausted, Cat Lover, a little bit? Don't you get tired of making excuses for Trump and then mental gymnastics? You can just let that go if you want to be free. All right? You don't have to anymore. And that's why they hate DeSantis so much, because he gives us another option. And the best option. I mean, listen to him. He is unequivocally pro-life, and he's willing to prove it. And he's straight up like, look, the 10th Amendment, Chris, or blah, blah, blah. Look, okay, enumerated powers. It's up to the states. All right, fine. But DeSantis, the person in Washington, the president, has the ability to either be a pain in the ass to the pro-life movement or supportive of it. To be suing, the state of Florida. I think Biden sues Florida all the time over these things. What DeSantis is saying, as a president, he will be a friend of the pro-life movement. So and be an advocate for them. That's important to have a president doing that. All right. Trump praising Lindsey Graham again, but remember, Trump supporters remove him from this, all right? Trump steps in it again. He's the official account. Yeah, and here's another thing, guys, all right? So, and Glenn Beck was saying, I want to play another clip, but Glenn Beck's there saying that, the surrogates are going back and forth. The surrogates. Look, DeSantis' surrogates Pushaw, rapid response, Brian Griffin, press secretary for the campaign, Jeremy Redfern, press secretary for the governor's office, and then anybody else that has Ron DeSantis in their pro. Will Chamberlain works for him. There's other the rest that you said, like Justin Hart and the rest, don't work for DeSantis. We're people just with our own opinions, okay? But Stephen Chung works for Trump. He's like his official spokesman, and he's bragging that Trump bought a gun in South Carolina. Well, he's under indictment. Okay, he can't buy a gun. Oh, here it is. It was Justin Hart that made. I thought it was Unfiltered Boss that made this comment. It was Justin Hart. Why? Now he says he really. Why? Because Trump's under 91 felony indictments, guys. He's under 91 felony indictments. He can't buy a gun. All right? Here he is. Oh, I bought a gun. Now he's deleted it. And now he's like, oh, yeah, no, I didn't know he didn't buy a gun. Well, what is it, Steven? You're lying one or the other. I'm sick of the lying. Trump and his people lie all the time. And they get caught in it. They're scummy, too. All right, here's Bob Vanderplatz on Steve Deese today. He's the Iowa religious leader who, come on, Bob, come out and endorse DeSantis. I think there's going to be Kim Reynolds is going to endorse, Sununu is going to endorse, Bob Vanderplat's going to endorse, but they're kind of just like holding on to it. They're not blowing their wad right now.
I mean, where do you define the sanctity of human life? And I think it's why we keep losing the debate, because we're not willing to have the argument on its merits. Who creates life? Who defines life? Is that life have a separate DNA? Is that life have a separate heartbeat? Is that day planned and ordained before one comes to be? And if that's the case, then you have to be for all life. You have to be pro-life from conception to natural death. And by walking away from that argument, we continue to lose that argument, even in a post-Roe world.
And Trump...
I mean, where do you define the sanctity of human life? And I think it's why we keep losing the debate.
And that's the problem, because how is Trump going to go up there and be... What's he going to argue? His view on this is so nebulous. Like, oh, there's going to be a number. We need to ask the Democrats. Well, Democrats, we know where they stand. They're fine with abortion straight up till birth, and in some cases after birth. They believe in this population control stuff. And the people with the population control stuff, I always tell them, why don't you lead by example if you think the earth needs to be less populated? Lead by example. All right. So, Riley Gaines. Check this out. Here's Riley Gaines talking about Trump and the either the man and a woman issue or the pro-life issue. This is all part of the same. Oh, she's pretty cute. This is all part of the same. You know, there's a new generation. There's a Daily Signal. There's a new generation rising up too. Do you notice? There's this other babe on here that really moral, principled, good-looking girl, a woman, and there's a new generation rising up of influence. I hate the word influencers and gatekeepers. These washed out influencers and gatekeepers. It's time for them to move over. There's another generation rising up. All right, listen to Riley Gaines here.
Did you see this Megyn Kelly interview with Donald Trump talking about whether a man can become a woman? What are your thoughts?
I was shocked.
Can a man become a woman?
In my opinion, you have a man, you have a woman. I think part of it is birth. Can the man give birth? No, although they'll come up with some answer to that also.
I never would have imagined that President Trump would have struggled to answer this. And it was very clear he was struggling. He hesitated, well, he says, I think it's not an I think. This is not an opinion. It's a fact that no, a male can never become a female. A man can never become a woman. A boy can never become a girl. A father can never become a mother. It's an easy, emphatic no.
Did you see this Megyn Kelly interview with Donald Trump talking about...
It's not about... I don't want to say it's not about what Trump thinks. Okay? Hey. No. I'm going to get to this in a minute, all right? It's not about what Trump thinks. All right? It's about what truth is. What is truth? This is what This is what Pilate asked Jesus. What is truth? It comes down to just straight up this, and Trump cannot answer what is truth. All right? Now, let's go on to Corey Mills and Matt Gaetz. And this is where I always get myself into trouble because, oh God, for politicians, some of these guys have thin skins, you know? Okay, yeah, the response rates on these polls. Who the hell answers the phone anymore? You know, nobody has landlines. Who's doing these polls? Just, you're going to see more polls this week. Just please, guys. I come back after a weekend, and there's people all just having meltdowns over the polls and blah, 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 blah. Do I have Trump derangement syndrome? Maybe I do. Maybe I do have Trump derangement syndrome. You know, maybe it is. Maybe I'm just like, you know, I think Trump derangement syndrome, that implies that you hate him just because you hate him. But, you know, I am starting to really, really despise the man. You know, maybe it is Trump derangement syndrome. But, okay, let's go to Gaetz. And I want to play with Eminem. Oh, Morgan Ariel. That's who it is. Morgan Ariel. She actually has CPUSA in her profile. But Morgan, just, you know, when you stand for what's right, and back the guy that's right, just get ready for the fiery darts. They're coming for you. Get ready for your income streams to be threatened. Get ready for, you know, things like that. But you know what? In the end, look, let's just do what's right. And I'm really a fan of Morgan Ariel. She's on here now. A lot of these old washed out people like Cat Turd, go away, dude. All right. But there's new people rising up, which is great. Chris Rufo, go Chris Rufo. And you know what? Hey, look. I would rather people get involved in the primary, but if you just are like, you know, you don't want to get in the muck with politics, you know, I can respect that to a degree. Okay, so I'm not voting for this clown. I get it, but that's right. Okay, all right. Here is DeSantis sticking up for his surrogates because you know what? They want Pushaw fired so bad. They want Pushaw fired. She's so horrible. She's just the meanest. And Trump's surrogates, they're just so bad. I would have loved to support DeSantis, but his surrogates make it so I cannot. And They want DeSantis to fire. As soon as I encountered Christina Pushaw, there have been people that have been trying to get her fired like crazy. It's a Pushaw derangement syndrome. Tell me you haven't seen that. And because they want to get people fired that are effective. They don't like them. And they don't like other people encroaching on their territory because, you know, they're the gatekeepers and all. So these guys have tried to get her fired. Now the Trump people, they can't stand her. They go after the people that support DeSantis on Twitter, which the vast majority of, other than the ones I mentioned earlier, are not on the payroll, okay? All right, but watch how DeSantis defends his people. Watch.
A primary where the people are saying, please don't do this. Please don't snipe at each other. And yet surrogates, oh my.
Glenn.
Gosh.
Okay, Glenn. I assume you're talking about shoot, I was muted that whole time. You didn't hear it. Oh my God, everybody. And you didn't. I was muted the whole time. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. So I'm saying comparing the Trump surrogates, like the people that are actually paid, like Stephen Chung, who got caught lying today, to Christina Pushaw, who's a class act. All right. But Glenn, look, the sniping back and forth, this is all necessary. I get it. This is called a primary. This is a process that's very important to our political system that's been around for a long time. We don't have coronations. We don't just, nominate somebody because it's owed to them or whatever, or it's their turn, okay? Vigorous primaries are how you work a lot of this stuff out, and it's also how flaws are revealed, all right? Typically, you have two candidates that are close to each other, but you're seeing DeSantis and Trump are not close to each other. And Trump has been freaking out and going at DeSantis like crazy since 2022, when he started seeing him as a political.
Just go, your team, Donald Trump team, they're just hacking each other to death. Is that good, positive? How do you feel about that?
Look, but I mean, I think that, I was running for re-election and he started launching attacks at me before the midterm. And then I win the election and then all this stuff. So it's been incessant against me more than anybody else. I mean, he attacks me way more than he attacks Biden, not even close. And a lot of the stuff is just demonstrably false. For example, he said Florida mandated COVID vaccines. That's a lie. That did not happen. Not only did we not do it, I called a special session of the legislature, got him to pass legislation that protected every job in Florida, including at private companies. I had corporate Republicans attacking me for that. They were saying, well, if a corporation wants to force someone to take an mRNA shot, they can always, quote, just get another job. No.
Libertarian view. All right. This is where the libertarians, and this is where DeSantis bucks the libertarian view. Libertarians are like, if a private business, if Amazon wants to tell you to wear clown hats and bikinis to work every day, they're a private business. They can do whatever they want to you. No, that's not how DeSantis sees it. All right. DeSantis said, no, these guys are acting as a de facto government over people and they're violating people's rights. This is where government protects. Government serves a purpose, okay? It does. Government's very important. It serves a purpose to protect citizens from massive corporations like Facebook violating your rights. That's one of the purposes of government. DeSantis understands this. Trump does not.
We didn't want you to have to choose between a job you need and a shot you didn't want. So we put those protections in. So that's something where you see, and you see that time and time again. So we have an obligation to respond in those instances and set the record straight. Sometimes things are so ridiculous that I just kind of laugh at it, and I think most people laugh at it. But that's just what we've been done. When I go out and make my case, I'm making a positive case for myself. If I'm asked to respond to something that the former president says, I will do it. And then I will provide my perspective on his record or not record. That's fair game. I mean, for example, we have a fundamental difference about how COVID should have been handled. He said he did a great job. He said he shouldn't have fired Fauci. He even gave Fauci an award his last day in office. Now, I think he should go on the debate stage and defend that, and we can have that discussion, but that's fair game. I bucked Fauci early on. I had Fauci coming to Florida attacking me. I had the media attacking me, all that stuff. I made myself very clear on that. So there's a difference there. There's a difference, too, on, draining the swamp. He promised it, obviously didn't deliver it. Why didn't he deliver it? He will argue his way. I will say, well, you know what? You trusted some of the wrong people. These appointments were not good appointments. How are you going to do better this next time on the appointments? And you can contrast that with a guy like me. Who do I have as like Surgeon General? I don't have a Fauci clone. I've got Dr. Joseph Ladapo. He's out there fighting all this stuff. So the personnel is really significant.
The personnel is significant, okay? And, I know a lot of, and there's another push here going on with guys like Chuckles and these guys who seem to think that DeSantis should just drop out and give Trump all his money. Trump is a billionaire. DeSantis worked for his money. Why the hell should Trump or DeSantis give a dime to Trump for his stupid legal problems that he got himself into? Screw that. You got all these people, they're like, oh, Trump should, and it was like it went out on the listless vessel, the listless vessel post. Everybody now needs to demand that DeSantis drop out and give him money. And give all of his money to Trump. You know, what the hell? Okay, here it is. Look at this. And this is so freaking condescending, too, these guys. They're so condescending. John LaFever, I don't even know who this guy is, but he's got a lot of followers, so he must be very important, okay? Oh, signed contracts with Goldman Sachs. Oh, okay, all right. New York Times bestselling author, straight to hell. Okay, got it, okay? DeSantis is a smart guy and a solid governor. Yeah. Whenever you hear something start with this, you know you're about to get a load of BS, okay? With an impressive track record for delivering on the America First agenda. But he's down 50 points. he's down 1,000 points. Another poll is going to come out after this debate saying DeSantis is down 1,000 points. Watch. With seeming no viable path to a nomination. With Trump polling better versus Biden than ever, should DeSantis step aside and commit his $100 million to GoTV? What the hell is it? Efforts and ballot integrity issues? Oh my God. First of all, we got ballot integrity fixed here in Florida because of DeSantis. You want to talk about in election integrity? We did it here in Florida. Giving $100 million to Donald Trump would be the worst thing you could do for election integrity. The worst. Election integrity went to hell under Trump. Jeez and Pete. Oh my goodness. But DeSantis worked for everything in his life, but give your money to the overweight billionaire. Okay, yeah. So he can piss it away and give it to all his ex-wives, which he has to pay off every month and all that. You know, give me a freaking break. His mistresses. How many mistresses do you think Trump has? Like 6, 7? Can you imagine sleeping with Trump? He's probably got that orange goo just out of here, but then the rest of his body's all pasty and shriveled up and white. Ew. Like, can you imagine, debasing yourself like that? Oh my God. But for a little clout and a little fame and a little bit of being close to power, women will do that. Okay. So thanks for joining me tonight, guys. The debate is Wednesday. All right. I'll be there in California reporting on it. And it's not the debate we're waiting for. Does anybody know? Has anybody heard of Vivek lately? I haven't even heard of the other candidates lately. Who's still in it? I don't even know who's still in it. Is Vivek still in it? I don't know. I haven't heard from him lately. After that, Mehdi Hassan ripped him to shreds in that interview. Vivek's kind of vanished. It's Trump versus DeSantis, guys. Trump versus Newsom. Newsom's going to be at the debate. Maybe I'll run into him. But this is what... Yeah, this is what gets me. All right, these guys. All right, guys like Corey Mills. Guys like, what did I say? Guys like Matt Gaetz, which they're fighting for this spending stuff now to get spending in, and it's just very difficult for them to try to stand on any ground after they've debated Trump. Okay. Matt Gaetz viewed it. Oh, we've confronted with our argument over government spending. Most smart and open-minded people will convert. Blah, blah, blah. Matt Gaetz, you endorsed Trump, who added $7.8 trillion to the deficit. You want him to be president again. How can you argue for fiscal responsibility? Same thing with Corey Mills. Where is it? I hate when they condense your tweets. Elon Musk, if you like, when they make this little thing where they make that where it's like a little tab you have to hit. But all right, where is it at? Where is it at? Okay. All right. I need to post less stuff. All right. Okay, let's just go to, okay. So, and then there's Corey Mills, all right, is a congressman, all right. So he's here saying, DC's addiction to spending is careening us into economic collapse. The constant printing of money, borrowed debt creates the invisible tax inflation that's destroying America's middle class and making cost of living the unaffordable. All true. Any American knows you cannot spend your way out of debt, and every business owner knows you can get a certain size that you can no longer cut your way to profitability. The broken institution known as Congress must change its ways and provide an economic growth strategy that gets our GDP national debt ratio in check. Today's fight is pre-COVID spending level versus bloated emergency fund. Okay, well, Corey, who got us from pre-COVID to post-COVID? It wasn't Biden. It was Trump. Trump's the reason for this inflation. We'll be in the same position. We must get individual appropriation bills. Okay, Corey, I get it. Hold the line. I'd post underneath, look, you endorsed Donald Trump for president, who added $7.8 trillion in the national debt and says he did a great job over the man, Ron DeSantis, who created record surpluses in Florida. You have no room to speak on the subject anymore. This isn't my opinion. This is just a fact. These guys like Gates, like Mills and all, they're trying to make these arguments for cutting spending, for pro-life. Of course, I don't think Gates wants anything to do with the pro-life stuff. Gates is a lib. You've got to try to make this argument for spending. Do you see that, like, the people that they're trying to make this argument against can just come right back to them and say, the guy you endorsed for president put us in the position we're in. By rushing out and endorsing Trump the way that Gates and Mills and these guys did in Florida, it undermines their ability to effectively argue their position, because they can be called out as hypocrites. And this is a problem you're going to see over and over again with Trump. I'm not being mean by pointing this out. The Democrats are going to take advantage of this. They already are. If you're going to try to have the high ground on something, you better not live in a glass house. Okay? And we got DeSantis, a guy that, okay, now let's see if I can do a theme here, okay? All right, guys. It's been great being with you again. Can you hear my background music? This is not going to get me a copyright infringement, I don't think. Guys, I asked some of you. Let's try this one. That's a good one. Okay. Oh, that's a good ending right there. What do you think of that? I like that. Look, whoever we put up there against, who will probably be Newsom, but if it's Biden or whoever, they've got to be able to argue these positions and not be called out for hypocrisy. All right? You can't argue these things, and the Democrats will do it. You see Midas touch, calling Trump out, calling these guys out. This is what we've got. And then you got DeSantis, a guy that says what he means what he says, and has actions to back it up. This is Chris Nelson. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. See you again tomorrow night, 7:30, right here.